So there was no way that 68 months we could put everything down, and by then we would lose the reputation or the customers, all of that would go away. And in that moment, I think in that period, what we've understood is customers never stopped coming. Though the kitchen was on the third floor, there was even a time wherein police was enforcing shutdowns by midnight. So we had a lot of issues with that. I even had to sit in a police jeep and go to the station, for a petty case and things like that. So I got to witness the raw elements surrounding our business because we were always open late into the night. Bangalore was growing post the IT boom and everything, and we wanted an address. It was a big risk. It was a huge risk that they took back then, my father and his brother and the team back then, paying off a 3.5 lakh rupee rent back in 2003 it's not a joke, it was a big thing, it was a big risk. One thing that my father put me through was doing that manual approach, being hands-on. By then, yes, technology was there, but he didn't want us to adapt that at the early stage, but go through that grind of becoming a creator from that raw approach. And with the IT BPO boom coming in, things were open late into the night. They had to get food. So this turned out to be a great opportunity for us. 2007 onwards, we went on adding more and more outlets.
It is not every day that you come across a restaurateur who's as passionate about their business as their forefathers. But Shakir Haq is anything but ordinary. This extraordinary restaurateur is the third generation running the Empire Restaurants, also known as Taste of Bangalore. During his tenure as CEO, Shakir has not only expanded Empire Restaurants to beyond Bangalore, but he has also made sure that the people who run the business are taken care of. Shakir is very grounded in his grandfather and father's philosophy of people before profit. In this very candid conversation with us, he talks to us about how they've built SOPs, processes, systems, and made sure that people adhere to it to grow the business. There are people who've been with him for over 25 years in an industry where surviving for 6 months is a challenge. Shakir has made sure that 59-year-old legacy of Empire continues to grow. Join us in this conversation, and I hope you learn as much from it as I did. Hi Shakir, welcome to today's special, and I'm really excited to have you in the second season of the show. Very excited to hear what you have to say about continuity in the business.
Thank you, Ketan. I think it's nice to be on your studio and the show. Looking forward to having a great discussion.
Likewise. So Shakir, before we get into the details of the continuity, Empire was started by your grandfather, right?
Yes.
It's been in business for about 60 some years, and it's a long time for any business, much less the restaurant business, right? So how has your grandfather's philosophy come to life in all these years that you guys have been in business?
So just to go back to let you a little story. So my grandfather, I think, started his days of a restaurant business back in Malaysia. So he was a Malaysian citizen of Indian origin, and being from the northernmost part of Kerala, which is very close to Bangalore, and Bangalore being the a busy trade hub down south, it was easy for us Keralites to come down and have a business, because if you known Bangalore Majestic used to be the most busiest area back in the days, and there were a lot of restaurants and tea shops and grocery stores around which were owned by Malayalis, and he knew that he would not continue his life back in Malaysia because the whole family was settled back in Kerala, and sons were growing up, they were getting older. So he came down and got into a small partnership at this restaurant in very close to MG Road and in very close to Shivaji Nagar as well. So he got into a partnership that one day, and then things were happening, it was being managed, then he would have to go back to Malaysia and come back, and a couple of years later he decided to give it away, and then 3 years later he decided to buy it all back and take over the restaurant. So my father, being the second born, he tried his things back in Dubai, didn't work, came back. This was an opportunity, so he came down in the late 70s and then started building from there. But going back to grandfather's philosophy, that is very simple, to keep great quality food at economical prices. Anybody should come and enjoy your food. But at his time, when it started, it was a very small eatery, I would say, just selling some tea and snacks. So in time it evolved, and by the time my father came, it could be called a small restaurant. Then from there, along the way, a lot of people came in. We developed the menu and all of those things. So the philosophy was very simple. Great quality food at economical prices, and our one of our core values being people before profit. That was practiced since then. Right, so that being practiced since then until now, we clearly follow that philosophy, because we have 100 odd people who are older than 25 years in the business, still working with us. Right, so that people before profit was one of the most important core values, or a philosophy, or an understanding, or a vision that my grandfather had, that it should go on. And father came in a few years later. His younger brother joined him, and together they went on to build something that is very synonymous today with Bangalore, and we call ourselves to be Taste of Bangalore as well. And that philosophy went on because it was one restaurant, one outlet, and as and when the city was growing, we were able to grow as well. And from being a very small eatery in the early 90s, we went on to purchase the building, put up a brand new building there. But even while putting up the building, the construction was done in such a way that one half of the building was demolition constructed, then the other half was demolition constructed and joined together. And why we did that was we did not have any other source of income back then, and this was the only bread and butter. So there was no way that 68 months we could put everything down, and by then we would lose the reputation or the customers. All of that would go away. And in that moment, I think in that period, what we've understood is customers never stopped coming. Though the kitchen was on the third floor, we'd have to walk through rubble, it went on. And that all of that supported that grounded approach. So, from that philosophy of establishing a business, establishing a foundation, which I'm sure back then even they did not think it would grow this large, God willingly, touch wood, the first 35 years odd or 30 years odd went on to just establish the whole brand and the business. On this menu, from the signatures, trying everything on a trial and error basis. The people were there. Step by step, the upgradations happened, from firewood to gas, then from orders being taken just verbally, then writing it down on your KOTs, then that becoming digital, having a computerized system. All of that evolved in time. Why? Because one thing they believed was in growth and sustainability and growing profit. And we did not cut corners. They did not believe in cutting corners. They believed in selling the best of quality at the best of prices, making it very affordable, convenient. And with all of that, we adapted things rather very early. A lot of people came in, went by, they brought in changes which stayed on. So with all of that, I think the first 35 odd years went on to be establishing a foundation kind of a thing that went on to get stronger and stronger and stronger. From there, I think in 2003 was one of our first outlet which we ventured again into Church Street. Though it was just about 400 meters away, Bangalore was growing post the IT boom and everything, and we wanted an address which was not, back in not a main road, and we wanted to have that address. It was a big risk. It was a huge risk that they took back then, my father and his brother and the team back then, paying off a 3.5 lakh rupee rent back in 2003 was not, it's not a joke, it was a big thing, it was a big risk. And my father and uncle being very, traditionally rooted in their business approaches, being frugal, and at the same time being very calculative about their judgments, that paid off really well. And that went on to become an address. People got to know Empire better, and Church Street, MG Road being the epicenter of Bangalore, the pub culture was always very strong. And with the IT BPO boom coming in, things were open late into the night, so they had to get food. You only could go to your city market areas or your Shivajinagar areas where not everybody could go. So this turned out to be a great opportunity for us, and we went on to open late into the nights. And from there, I think as business was growing, we had to bring in better systems, control, practices, governances. In 2007 onwards, we went on adding more and more outlets, covering more and more areas within Bangalore. So with all of that, we had to add in a lot of tech and various other systems and processes. So I think that simple philosophy went on to become a great empire today.
What a fantastic narrative, and you are quite the storyteller, I must say. I felt like I was with your grandfather and your father and your uncle when they were doing this, right? And you very nonchalantly put it as 35 years of building the basics and foundation. Say that to anybody in any business today that it will take you this long to build a foundation, and they'll probably have second thoughts about the whole idea,
No,
right?
they would not have second thought.
But
They would
it's
straight away
amazing.
laugh at it, saying, "Boss, kya baat kar rahe ho? People are
Yeah.
raising millions and billions in year, in a span of 5 years, maybe." But things back then were different. So that grounded approach is
Yeah.
helping us sustain today.
Absolutely, and the results speak for themselves, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you joined the business when you were 23, and
Yes.
you took over the helm when you were 32.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that journey, right? What did you join as? What were your duties? What were the guiding principles that your father and uncle handed it to you?
So I think for me, as a child, I was always inclined towards the business. On weekends, I used to go with my father to the restaurant and walk around with him, see what he used to be doing and things like that. And somewhere deep down, I always knew that it's going to be a family business, and I would be a part of this. But at the same time, it was not very serious. I was a very careless and reckless person enjoying life. And it was 2009 wherein we were opening an outlet in Frasertown, very close to where we live. And I was just finishing my graduation in that year. And immediately I joined the business. I think the first day I went in, I went in more like a trainee, wherein I was not told to do anything. Just go there, ensure you're there, you're understanding things, walk around, watch around, you observe, you learn, and then you understand. Do not respond or react, hold on, take some time. And my father and uncle both, I think, have been silent teachers. Probably, they were busy establishing the whole business and the organization. They did not have that level of time and understanding to give us that kind of training and grooming, because they did not go through that, so they were not exposed to it. And they did not go out and work or be employed by somebody else to gather some industry exposure, nothing like that. It was all done from scratch, trial and error, risk. So I think for me, started the first day, went on to understand what was happening from kitchen, getting all the raw materials coming into the restaurant in the morning, looking through that, preparation processes, then customers walking in, table setup. I think I went through every grind, wherein having conflicts with employees, having issues with customers, dealing with their grievances. There was even a time wherein police was enforcing shutdowns by midnight, so we had a lot of issues with that. I even had to sit in a police jeep and go to the station, for a petty case and things like that. So I got to witness the raw elements surrounding our business, because we were always open late into the night, and we were the only ones open late into the night, and we are always vulnerable to a lot of issues or problems or brawls that can happen. So there was a time when Bangalore was growing, people do get reckless at times. The enforcement, the law enforcement were not very strong. And for me, I think that first year and a half that I spent here, I think I got to learn a lot, understand the business a bit, not into the numbers and other strategies as such, but on the operational part. Then I was sent to Dubai. We had a restaurant there which was being managed by us under our name. So I went on to live in Dubai for 3 years, managed 2 restaurants. There I was all by myself, making decisions, failing in various aspects, losses, not accounting properly. Because most of this we didn't know, we were not told what to do. Most of it we had to learn by ourselves and do it. And that was how our seniors went through and got through life. So they expected probably the same. And whenever we would ask, we would get the information and learning, but then it had to happen when something went wrong. So we learned it in a way that, it could go wrong, then we would correct it. So confidence was built in time, authoritative capabilities were built by, being accountable for what we are doing. Eventually the P&L was on me, and I did love working with numbers. I'm not a mathematics guy, but rather an accounts lover, where I love numbers to do with accounts, not maths. So all that was of good interest for me to do our, daily ledgers, journals. Everything was manual. So I think one thing that my father put me through was doing that manual approach, being hands-on. By then, yes, technology was there, but he didn't want us to adapt that at the early stage, but go through that grind of, becoming a creator from that raw approach, where you're doing things from ground and then going up. So Dubai also, I think, gave me that level of learning, But that restricted me from, probably expanding myself or exploring myself further. No regrets though, but at that time I did feel that. But once I came back, because dad fell really ill and, we lost him to cancer in 2015. So he survived 3.5 years. So at that time, I spent a lot of time with him, taking him around. Very less time in the business. We did have a great team. One Mr. Junaid was our operator and he was managing things beautifully. He brought in a lot of systems and practices and tech and all of that. And by then, I think in the year 2015, when we lost him, I think we were about 18 or 19 odd outlets across Bangalore and highways and Mysore. And after he left, I was very much here, and we did have Mr. Junaid's look after things. My uncle was there. Dad's older brother also was there, though he was not very actively involved in the business, but he was there as an advisor and a mentor to the business. So things did get aggressive post that. We went on to add more outlets from 2016 to 2018. And it was the year 2018 where our operator wanted to move on and start something on his own. So that is when I had to come down and take the help. At the same time, as third generation, I had my older brother. Being from the engineering background, he did have his own passion. So as part of a family business, the dad did give him that liberty to explore and do something. So he's an automotive engineer and designer by profession. And the younger ones, my younger cousins, they were way too young at that time. And they were exploring. One was studying, the younger one. The other one was trying to intern and explore his capabilities across the globe. So came year to 2018, I took over as CEO. And I think at that time we were about 25 outlets or odd, about 2,500 employees. And we did reach a certain level of revenue, but at the same time we were carrying over some debt, which was used for our for expansion. So I think I went through all of those grinds, and came 2018. Whenever there is a transition, there is a lot of cleanup that you normally. Because what happened was, in that period from 2010 to 2018, somewhere we did deviate from the original dream of taking things slow and steady and retaining everything as a legacy and a heritage. But somewhere we did explore that fact that no, we will do a valuation game and blah blah blah. It did not go well because the timing was maybe not right. And after our GM moved on and I took over, it was more like a spectator kind of a 2 years for me until COVID, where I was just trying to understand my people, the business, get along with them, build some level of trust. And came COVID, everything came crashing down. That was a difficult time for us, but it also gave us an opportunity to rebuild. I think that is where most of my learnings and knowledge on this, the exposure I could use. We improvised the tech, the back-end systems. The central kitchen was rather struggling. The logistics was not very much great in place, and the whole organizational structure was more or less somewhat in a rubble. So we got an opportunity to clean up. Though we were, facing heavy losses, tremendous losses, we decided to liquidate an asset and, overcome those losses and try to rebuild from what we left. So we shut down a few outlets, and, a lot of employees had to go back. But then at the same time, we started strengthening our back-end systems. Our point of sale, we brought in ERP, and from a central kitchen, we transitioned ourselves to a center of excellence, which is 4 times the size. And today we have better logistics, our own supply chain, real-time visibility as to what is happening in terms of process and dispatch and all of that. So post-COVID is where I think most of the changes really came in terms of evolving as a brand that is not just focused on being a restaurant company. So we migrated to a private limited company in 2012, called ourselves to be NKP Empire Ventures. Then we added more brands. In 2016, we added Karama, a premium restaurant serving a different cuisine altogether. 2018, we launched a QSR brand called Easy Bite, serving fried chicken and burgers. Today, that has grown under my younger cousins' leadership for the last 3 years. So we brought that level of change that was required for us to dream big. In 2021, post-COVID, we sought help of a lot of consultants. They came, helped us, rebuild, restructure, reiterate the whole business model, get our finances in place, get our costings right, our marketing and other strategies in place. So I went on to work with a lot of industry experts, and I was, just before I could take over, I had the opportunity to go to IIM, learn about family business and entrepreneurship. That really helped. So we did not have any experience of again working outside, delegating or making decisions. So here it was rather difficult for me to do the right kind of delegation, give the right kind of authorities. So what was completely centralized in terms of control and ops, we went on to decentralized operations and centralized control systems. So that gave us visibility, control in what we do, the last mile conversions that happen with our customers. Then we went on to map a customer journey that happened. So I think in the last 4 years, we've seen phenomenal growth that came post-COVID, for us. And the city grew, city bounced back, and we were able to add revenues to the tune of at least 200% in the last 4 years. So we've grown 200% odd in the last 4 years. That's where the whole foundation aspect comes back. That 35, 40 years of blood and sweat which went on to enforce a certain level of culture system and foundation is what helped us bounce back rather very strong. Since the foundation was strong, we were able to re-strengthen the whole foundation to add more branches and flows to it. So, and one thing that we focused was on bringing back that nostalgia. And when we get introduced or meet people and they get to know we are from Empire, they say, every time that we finish a party or we have a late night meeting, we end up in Empire. So the trigger is always not the food. Right? So when a person is describing Empire, they describe the moment first. Then they go into the experience of whole Empire. Then they come back saying, okay, boss, this has been great. Some people have Empire food post midnight, after a party, after they're drunk. Some people choose for lunch, as in when they're moving around the city, they see an Empire, they know what they have to eat, what is the best. They just go sit down, order, get their food, eat, and they move on. So we used all of those, the psychological elements to get better with our service. We understood there were a lot of those culture issues where staff were showing rude behavior. They thought they were like gangsters within post midnight, and we didn't want to do all of that. First things first, we are a hospitality business. And in hospitality, when you're in hospitality, it's not just a service you're providing, because service, with what I've learned and understood from a very special book, was service is black and white, hospitality is full of color. So we are vibrant. We are a young brand. We are absolutely, though 60 years in the business, but the brand is still very young. We started growing the last 20 years. So it's just been 20 years we are in the business. So we are still vibrant. We cater to every age group. We cater to every demography. Wherever we go, we are a daily habitual brand. So people do not decide or plan on going to Empire. It is pre-decided. Airport se nikal ke seedha Empire jayenge, khana lenge. That is something that we went on to be. That is why we call ourselves to be Taste of Bangalore. I mean, it's a Taste of Bangalore. What does it mean? Not just great taste. It's accessible, convenience, trustworthy, transparent. Now, why would I say transparent? People know what happens in the kitchen. There is a screen showing live kitchens in all our restaurants to ensure that standard. We were the first to introduce your contactless dining, where everything was served in a tray. So the customer had to pick up his plate, glass, cutlery, everything from the tray, put onto his table. The food would come, pick up his own food, put it on the table. Finger bowl would come, wash his hands, take everything back, put it on the tray again, would come take the tray and go back. Now that is how we could do contact. So we used Danish set, greatest, where complaint was, ye theek nahi hai, consistency nahi hai, wo nahi hai, ye nahi hai. So one thing that we understood was, as a brand, if we have to grow within the city, one thing we have to master is our consistency. And there goes a lot of science behind it. So in our conventional kitchen, we couldn't achieve that. So today I work with a gentleman who's more like a coach, mentor, and, an absolute moral support to me for the last 7 years, where he helped us build Center of Excellence today. Put a lot of science and art into what we were doing rather than rolling out just an item. Today there are products which are being rolled out of a Center of Excellence, going into outlets, world class, IP controlled, completely locked, nothing can break. So the conversions were even more simpler. Why? Because we are not going to get skilled hands across every outlet, every kitchen. So we had to keep our trainings minimal, conversions minimal, and the outcome being par or better. So we used that.
Tell me a little bit more about.
Sorry,
go ahead. Finish you're saying something.
Time post COVID, because this was something that I always dreamt about, having a great facility. If we have to be a large brand, we don't want to restrict ourselves just with restaurants, but get into multiple aspects of food. So, with that simple dream of having a large facility, where I was always inspired by your Lay's facilities or a Pepsi bottling or a food company that is dishing out or rolling out millions of products a day. And I used to always watch these videos on our National Geographic and Discovery and all that. Back then we didn't have YouTubes and Instagrams, so the only access was that. So that stayed with me. I want to build something like this, and eventually we want to get into merchandise. We have a story to tell. We have a name that we can carry. Why not just, instead of serving it on a plate in one of our restaurants, we started serving it via home delivery to the houses. But now I want to serve it in a packet where it can stay on a shelf in your homes. And you open the packet, it could be a ready to eat or a ready to cook product. The same signature what you would receive at what you would get at the Empire outlet. So that is the approach wherein going forward, God willing, we will get into that merchandise aspect as well.
It sounds to me that you've mastered the art of service design. This is not just about food, it's a lot more than that. Tell me about the Center of Excellence. The Center of Excellence. What is it about? How did it come about? And usually you hear about centers of excellence in tech companies where they're building on a certain skill set. But I'm very curious to hear about your Center of Excellence.
See, again, we started the whole conversation with a philosophy, right? And again, Center of Excellence is a philosophy. Now, when I say a philosophy, it is basically merging the kind of experience and history and heritage we've built over time with technology, science, art, wherein what goes out of that facility in terms of a product or a service, it is beyond par excellence. Now, when you said tech companies do this, yes, you're absolutely right. But there are also food companies, not a restaurant company. Now, Haldiram's, they have a wonderful center of excellence in Madhya Pradesh. And, again, we were inspired by all of these brands, those stories. And why did we want to do a center of excellence? Over time, since 2017, when I was working with this gentleman, wherein we were trying to understand the whole core philosophy of what Empire is all about. What do the customers feel? What can we really do with the brand name Empire? What is the signature? How can we take this forward? What are the opportunities? What are the potentials? From being, a very traditional, original brand wherein we never focused on authenticity. We only focused on what is original to Empire, and which was being done traditionally, conventionally, wherein everything was chosen by hand. The chef, the cook would come and do the mixing in the kadai, and packing was done manually. All that was rather laborious work that we were doing. So we semi-automized most of these. So in Center of Excellence, what we do multiple things. So we have a dedicated butchery which does a lot of post-process. So we received dressed birds, we do our final cuts into various formats. So that is done in a butchery there, which is temperature controlled, again world class. We have a complete veg processing center wherein all the vegetables that are being used as raw vegetables in the outlet go as ready to use in portion control. So outlets don't have cutting, chopping, ye kharab hai, packet ka chala mein dalo bas. There are various sizes, various portions. Then from there we have a complete hot kitchen which brings out our gravies, our bases, our marinades. Now the hot kitchen, again, you're using kettles and woks which has your mechanical handles. You don't have your manual way of transferring it to the packet. No, everything is automized there. It goes through a pumping line to the packaging machine. It goes through its chilling, blast chilling. Then it gets into dispatch. Now, with all of this behind, there is manufacturing empowering solution, which is again IoT4 powered, real time, where we get to witness the whole processing activity that is happening across our center of excellence. Then we have all our signature products, which goes through an IP control. Earlier, we used to use our masalas, which were milled in various places to protect its secret. Today, it is IP controlled, just like what you see your MTRs and other big spice houses making an IP controlled product, which is very secret. We have the same today. So it's taken us time. We've involved a lot of science, a lot of art, a lot of equations, a lot of formulas. And, with that, we were able to control the whole, I would say the whole, but rather a part of the supply chain, from getting the best of vendor management, the best of produce, through the best of channels, going through the most stringent, receiving protocols. Rejections are very high. Eventually, even vendors understood these guys are not going to compromise or cut corners. And, whatever rolls out of that facility is a top-notch product and zero complaints when it reaches the outlet. And absolute consistency when the final dish is prepared and served to the customer. So this is where, a lot of center of excellence philosophy involves IP control, zero tolerance, no compromise. The standards and specs are all very well defined. Vendors know what they are dealing with. And this level of understanding is cascading eventually to the outlets where our people are showing that level of charity. It is a challenging thing to do because one thing that we believe is the 3P principle. So it is people, process, product. And over time we have built a great because of a good process and through a lot of people. So each time we want to refine the product, we refine the process, people adhere to that process. So what we've brought in is systematic change. And not everybody wants to embrace change. So we had to change resistance into resilience. That a lot of people leave, a lot of people rebel, a lot of people try to change things. All that we had to fight. And that was not an easy thing to do because the leaders at the leadership level had to prepare themselves too. We had to get mentally prepared. There would be, rewards, there would be issues, but we had to go through all of that. Why? Because something that supported us was growth and sales. The revenue was coming in. People, customers were storming and orders were getting better. So eventually everybody understood if we have to do this at a much larger level, we can't do it like what we did it back then. It has to change. So with those systems, protocols, SOPs, constant audits, we've still not reached that 100%. Probably we would never reach 100%, but at least I aim to reach a 99%. From wastages to quality controls to a lot of things that is recorded today, passed on. We have dashboards that are available. There is a data center management team who identifies data, crunching data, sending out the right kind of dashboards to the respective people so they can take better decisions. People are being empowered. They've been given authorities. They've been given responsibilities where they succeed in what they are doing with the right kind of support. There are coaches coaching them. There are mentors mentoring them. So we've invested not just in the product and process, but also in people. This is what Center of Excellence means. And it is just the beginning. We have a complete training kind of an institute or an academy that we are planning and, building complementing businesses, which would again be under the umbrella of Center of Excellence and NKP Empire. So we are just not restricting ourselves to opening more and more restaurants. We are wherever, we think we would fit. We are opening restaurants. We're creating more brands. We're looking at new geographies. At the same time, we're adding complementing businesses. We have our own manufacture in mineral water plant today, where from the source till the bottling, it is all in our control. So it is an Empire branded mineral water which is served only in our restaurants for our customers exclusively. We have not started any outside sales. Maybe in the future, once the plant is fully matured and ready.
So technology remains the core of your growth, clearly, right?
Technology remains the core driver of our whole ops and growth further, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way it's been implemented, the way you've thought about the whole process shows a very deep understanding of and not just a deep understanding, but also control of what will work with the team that you have, the people.
Thanks to the legacy that we have carried over. There's a lot of trial and error that we have done, learning out of that, which helped us take better decisions and bring in better control. Yes.
So you've covered most of the questions that I had. Let me ask you this. From your perspective, right? You're a technology company also serving food, right now. The way things sound to me, right? Very, very strong food business, with a very strong spine of technology. Do you think this is the future for all businesses in this space that want to grow?
See, one thing that I believed in is, not speed over efficiency, but efficiency over speed. And when you get more efficient, your speed can gradually increase. In our business, in our world, I think speed can happen at various levels. We are not an assembly kind of a brand wherein it is just two buns between once you're adding three things. No, there's most of the things that are happening from scratch and everything is served fresh. And we believe in daily fresh deliveries. And we do not use frozen products. Our USP is fresh every day. And if we have to remain something like that, like I said, first and foremost, you need to understand what are your value systems and your principles and morals. What do you want to do? You just want to make money out of opening a restaurant? In today's world, that is not possible. It's absolutely not possible. You would fail miserably in the first 3 months itself because marketers have become very advanced and very quick. Competition it's cutthroat, right? So if you have to grow, I think first things first is you need to understand the depth of your brand, right? And what your brand signifies. I think for us, having that 50 years of experience, and we understood that as Empire, we are a Sony as well as a Bata. Sony, they are known for their tech, they are known for their innovation, they are world class. What is Bata known for? Their consistency, their quality, their value for money, their trust in people. So we want to be a mix of where we use the right kind of technology, which ensures the right kind of delivery of our. This understanding again happened over time. So for any brand that has to grow successfully, I think you need to have a great, strong back-end system. Now, whether you're one outlet or you aspire to be 100 outlet or 1,000 outlet, back-end system, logistical support, your supply chain control, value chain control, cost management. If you're not able to arrest all of these things in time, sustainability becomes a question.
Okay. And obviously this did not happen overnight, right? So there was a first step, and then there was a second step, and then there was a third step. And now when you look back on it, you have an entire stack of tools, processes, SOPs that work in tandem. If one part goes awry, the whole system can, is at risk, right? How do you plan to take this understanding, this knowledge, and this ability to spot challenges to the next generation of leaders that will come after you?
So, so this is basically, going forward, right? What we've put forth is, starting this year, is Vision 2030. Now, people would ask, okay, what is Vision 20? Now, Vision 2030 is not just putting forth targets for our brands to achieve. No. Vision 2030 is all about strengthening and reinforcing that foundation for the future. So it's basically what we can bring about in terms of a cultural and a structural shift in what we do. Again, going back to my 3P principle: people, process, and one. Yes, we would want to grow. We would want to add more outlets, more geographies. That is on the structural part. Now, when we're talking about the cultural aspect, what are we trying to do is bring in more of that hospitality. What is missing? We want to fulfill all of that. Ensure that excellence, what we have benchmarked, we achieve that. And it cannot happen overnight. It's going to take us some time. So while we are adding more outlets, conquering more geographies, parallelly this is happening wherein we are trying to create an institution where the training happens from scratch. Not just products, we can roll out great leaders where they're trained as per the brand standards, as per the brand philosophy, where the unlearning happens and the learning happens. Now, why we would want to do a cultural shift? Anything remaining in a single system for a long time can get corrupted, can get corroded, or can rather be redundant, rather become redundant. So we have a lot of people whom we know that change management will not be embraced and they would eventually leave the system. The new candidates or people that come into the existing system post their new learning process, they again go into an unlearning process with the corrosion or corruption that can spread probably by one person in 1 hour. They'll say, why do you want to do all of this, man? Successfully 40 years we function. ये सब जरूरत नहीं है, ये process, ये protocol, ये SOP, बस हम लोगों को. They don't understand that yes, you are being asked to step out of your comfort zone, get a little uncomfortable to get more comfortable in the future. So that culture of tolerance levels being very high, compromise, no problem, मार के दे दो, adjustment का काम करो, we don't want that anymore. We've seen that, we've witnessed that, we've seen the worst of it, and we've seen what that can deliver as well. So how do you bring a stop to this? Again, like I said, you may not be able to eliminate it, but you should ensure that you have absolute control. That is a cultural shift. Leadership enforcement, people empowerment, wherein, like I said, leaders are going through a lot of coaching, they're being given better tools, better responsibilities, more accountability so they can take better risks, aim bigger. Why would I do all of this? Because we are again a homegrown team. We do not have big ranking IIMs, IITs involved. I have a great HR who's a professional. We work with professional consultants who help us. But at the same time, today our chief of accounts is a gentleman who's been there for the last 26 years. He was there when dad was there. So he came in as a clerk. Today he's the custodian of accounts and finance today. Who's heading operations, who's managing all these outlets. Kader came in with a basic BCom degree straight into being an office executive, managing accounts and journals. Today he runs operations for me. Vaishak, who came in as a receptionist at one of our hotels, that is a lodge. Today he heads e-commerce. Shakir, who is projects and maintenance today, manages a team of 60 odd people in terms of in-house maintenance and has a budget of 5 crores every month for him to spend in terms of new projects. Right? He's built a great system where he's added CAD engineers, designers, civil engineers. That team has grown. I said, I want 25 outlets in 3 years, Shah. How are you going to manage it for me? You only know building one outlet at a time. He said, sir, we will work on it. Today, the systems are, when an outlet is being ready, he comes and gives me a docket, which is rather large at an A3 or an A5 size. I go through it, pictures, dimensions, details of every switchboard, everything is there. I don't need to go to that outlet. So Mysore, we're doing an outlet wherein I didn't choose the location. I didn't finalize to go and see the location. I went in after everything was set, finalized, almost ready, wherein about 20 days of work is left. So I went and I was like, guys, you've done a great job in choosing the location, identifying, putting up a brand new design. So my brother works directly with the project maintenance, because again, engineer, he's great with design. So every outlet that's designed is designed by my older brother. So they bring in the raw materials, they bring in the optimization, they bring the sustainability factors, which material to use. All that is turned over time. A Shakir who came in at a 600 rupee salary earns close to 2 lakh rupees today, right? So they are empowerment. So they call themselves leaders of NKP. So that confidence, all this happened with a lot of those things that we did together to bring forth. Now, if you ask me about a succession plan, no, we are not ready with a succession plan, because there was not a formal family governance back in the days. As third generation, as us, I think it is my absolute responsibility to take this legacy and heritage forward. So me, along with my brothers, we will ensure there is a great plan and a governance that is put forth for the succession. Not necessarily everybody in the next generation. My son, probably who's 3, may not want to be a part of the business. But how do we keep the heritage going on? There are ways to do it. We are working on it. We are planning on it. In time, I think it should be visible to me. Yes. So Vision 2030 is all about this. Then comes the product which I spoke about, the merchandise. That is something that we are very keen on doing, and complementing businesses. So the vision of NKP Empire is to be a global food company, not just a restaurant. So Vision 2030.
So interesting.
Right. Yes.
Sorry, I keep cutting you off. There's some lag.
No problem at all, please.
Finish. You were saying something. Vision 2030.
Almost covered everything there.
Yeah. No. So interesting to see that, there are people who've been in the industry for much longer than you have, in the business for much longer than you have. They were probably hired by your father and uncle at, like you said, maybe an entry level job like a clerk. And today they've gone on to head businesses, that aspect of the business, which is very, very modern, right? And so it's not only a decentralization of operation, but it's also empowerment at every local or every level of the capability, right? So these people who've been there have probably seen more ups and downs in their 25 years of the business than you probably have. How do you balance this learning from them and pushing back where you think this is the future?
See, first things first, when I came in, I think I knew that I had to be accepted. And for me to be accepted, I think I believed I need to be a great listener rather than giving them orders. And all they did was taking orders and getting things done. It was more like an autocratic style of leadership before I took it. So there is this thing, from owner, manager to manager, and then back to owner manager. So I'm an owner manager. So in between we had a manager. So that time, things obviously, because he did everything best in this company, right? He gave us a lot of growth. He gave us a certain level of system and foundation for us to take it forward. But that had to change in time. So, getting to know them better or understanding what they knew was important to me and what have they learned or what are they capable of was important. But eventually I understood, there's no point looking into that. Let's get along, unlearn and learn. So we learned it together. We went through workshops. We went through trainings. We've learned a lot of those things. Yes, probably they have not gotten the exposure that I have, but I was able to share those exposures. If I'm working with the coach today, I ensure they're also working with the same coach, because the language that I speak, I want them to understand and also speak the same and ensure there is a cascading effect going down. So what I struggled with 5 years ago with them, even this thought of, okay, if this fellow goes, what am I going to do? That is where they are today. With the systematic changes happening, my ops guy comes and tells me, sir, this fellow who's been with us 20 years, he wants to go. I said, what is his reasoning? He's not clear about his career objective. He doesn't know where he's going to be. I said, has he always complied with the change? Probably not. He's been a comfortable person in a comfortable zone. Now, he's not able to revolt or rebel against his comfort. So he eventually understood, boss, I cannot be part of this new regime. I am not meant to be there. I said, there is more that is going to happen to you. And you will probably go through more pain in how to figure out. I said, eventually it will fall in line. that will fall in line like it has fallen in line earlier. That is the strength of a system. And the system will drive it. And you and me sit with certain powers on this chair. At home, I may be the owner, yes, but here I'm an equal employee just as you are. My chair holds certain privileges, yours do. Now, there are situations where we got to be Hitler. You make sure you're being. Situations where you have to be Gandhi, make sure you're a Gandhi there. That is what hospitality is all about. We are in the people business, not in the food business. Because again, what starts on the 3P? It is you train your person, he serves well or he serves bad. What does that happen to the customer? He either likes it, he comes back, dislikes it, never comes. So the outcome is in your hand. That is what you are accountable and responsible. How are you going to deal? I was able to do it, you're also able to do it. I will ensure you're able to. You have my son. So I think got along as one, wherein they never looked at me as CEO or owner. Today, they don't have to stand up when I'm walking. I don't like that. But the others do. But there is a certain level of, a hierarchy, a certain level of discipline and a decorum that. So when he walks in, his team has to stand up for him. I said, if that is not happening, something's wrong with you, not with the team. You were not able to discipline them. Like I said, we look at raw, realistic approaches. Everything. We did not go everything by the book. If that happened, I don't think we would have gotten this far. Certain things are by the book. That can never change. Nothing can change. Center of excellence, most of the things happen by the book. The science and art is by the book, right? Rest everything else is experience that we've gained over time.
No, I'm loving this raw energy that you have, and it's very difficult to tell you apart from the business. And it's very seldom that you come across such high levels of accountability, ownership, and agency. And I'm just thrilled that we got you. A lot of empire is built on legacy and nostalgia, and there's always an empire near you, right? Wherever you are in Bangalore.
Yes.
How are you getting this new generation of diners and spenders to feel the same about the business as probably their parents did? How are you reaching out to them?
It's a very different kind of approach that Empire has, right? The first things first, how do you get to know Empire? You're a Bangalorean, obviously, yes, you would know in time. But if you're new to Bangalore, how would you know? Your colleague or your friends or your group, they're all people who are customers of Empire. Someday they are going, it's like, boss, you come with us, we'll take you to a great place. This is our joint in the night. So that is most of the time how an Empire customer gets introduced to it. And how do they retain and become loyal customers? That I don't think I can express it to you by my words. I think only a customer can express that. I think you should ask a customer that. And again, it may not be the warmth, may not be the server's attitude, but there is something about the place that they know, they feel a sense of. And that is something, we may have understood, we may not have understood, but we're working towards that, working around that in a way that the environment is created very comfortable. Like, it's not too exquisite, it is not too basic. It is something that you come in any time of the day, whether it's 12 noon or 5 in the evening or 2 in the night, you're comfortable. You could sit with your girl on a date. Why? Because the food is great. You feel a sense of comfort. You could have a business meeting. You could have a deal or negotiation that happens over great food. You can have it over chai, why not over food? And that happens. We have regulars who come. Now, the oldest outlet, Central State, that is an area surrounded by traders, small shops and all of that. We have customers who've been coming in thrice a week for the last 30 years, sir. And nothing has changed. And their orders only got better. Why? Because each time they come with a person or two. And they ensure they come. And if they don't come, we're like, किधर साथ भाई 2 दिन से दिखा नहीं आप क्या हुआ सब ठीक है नहीं भाई हम लोग बाहर गए थे. So they also feel that, and you call them by name. So that happens mostly in that outlet because certain employees of the outlets we don't shift them or transfer them because dad, uncle, they're all very because for them it is that outlet that is gave them everything. For me, I didn't start with that outlet. So my sentiment or my emotion may be far different from theirs. So we ensured my dad's office is still kept untouched as it is in that outlet. He never, by the time he left, we did not have a corporate office. It's post half day he left that we had a corporate office. And certain things are in that same way. We've left it untouched in that particular outlet. And why? Because not just us, even the people in that area do want to lose that charm. We were even given an opportunity to demolish the whole building. The property owned behind is a large one, so he wants to do a complete. They put up a great complex. I'll give you 3 times the place, but we couldn't come to terms with it. Again, it's not about the money. It's about that emotion and sentiment that particular outlet carries. That's I think for me.
I
See, I had my pain.
I was just going to say that I am no. The passion is one thing. I said I am at a
that. Okay, then it's because I've been there, through every grind, and it was great for me to work with wonderful people. The support that my family gave me, the mandate that my uncle gave me, and I think it was that confidence in those people where they gave me the liberty to perform. And yes, and I would always be forever grateful to these people who gave me the opportunity. And I always say, I was not born to do this; I was chosen to do it. People ask me, you were born, you was chosen to do this, and I enjoy
Your
doing
passion is your passion is so infectious that I want to come and work with you now. It's like that.
it. Thank you.
The first thing I'm going to do next time I come to Bangalore is I'm going to an Empire and I'm going to figure out.
You need to treat you as well. It'll be great.
No, of course. I will go anonymously. I will not call you. So
Please.
I will experience Empire in all its glory. No, it's
Wonderful.
such a fantastic. It's lovely to meet people like you who are the DNA of the business in many ways, right? I think I have learned more from this conversation, and
if you talk to my team, you feel the same kind of an energy. You talk to Kader, who's my AVP Ops, or you talk to my e-commerce guy, or you talk to one of our branch managers, they will give you the same level of energy. And I did not bring about this energy. I also absorbed this energy when working around with such positive. And it's not just me that was carrying the DNA of Empire. No, I would go back and give it to my people. They are the ones who are carrying the DNA. I even have a staff who's tattooed Empire on his forearm. One of our Hassan outlet staffs. Yes, and we got to know through a custom. Imagine. Yes.
Such passion and such love is not common. Let me tell you that. Fantastic. I've had a lovely conversation with you, Shakir. I have a few non-business related questions for you that I would love for you to answer. I think you quoted in the earlier part of the conversation, you quoted something out of Unreasonable Hospitality, which is
Will Guidara.
So Will Guidara. I mean, it's
My favorite
absolutely, absolutely. So I was going to ask you to recommend the book.
Or owner or who wants to get into a restaurant should read that. Should and must read.
Yes, absolutely. And I have read it. I cannot recommend it enough.
On that book again in a podcast which was done by Nikhil Kamath, and we had Zorawar Kaldra, we had Riaz Amlani, and I think I keep forgetting the lady's name, who was again a great baker, and so he was the one. So Zorawar Kaldra mentioned. Then I got that, a lover of that. Beautiful. I think that is where most of my way of expression and telling comes, because when you read that book you would understand how Will Guidara spoke about his life and went on to create the world's best restaurant ever.
I've read this book many times. I have a copy. I've gifted that copy. It's one of the most recommended books on this show.
Absolutely.
And I think Pooja Dhingra was also on that show with Nikhil.
Pooja Dhingra, yes.
But yeah.
Pooja Dhingra, yes, correct.
Yeah. Another Bombay legend. Which other F&B entrepreneur would you like to see on today's special?
I think one I really love hearing is Riaz Amlani from Impresario Restaurants.
Yes.
He also speaks very profoundly about what he does. And
beautifully, yes.
One is that. Another very interesting person I know who I'm a fan of is our point of sale founder, RestroWorks. Their company is called Ashish. Yes, Ashish.
Yeah.
Amazing. The way he's built about his company. I was in his office last month and I did a podcast with him. I enjoyed every bit of my 5 hours that I spent there, and I was so inspired with what they have done and built. Very impressive. Very impressed. I think you will feel the same sense of passion.
Yeah, we talk to him. Yeah, they're partners for us, so we meet with them very often. There's a lot of learning opportunity from Ashish. Riyaz Bhai to is a league above the rest, right? We met him at the NRAI AGM, and we were just talking about nostalgia. And one of the first projects that he had was a coffee brand called Mocha, which was daddebazi for every college going student back in the day.
I lived the
and
Mocha.
I'm happy to see. Yes, so I'm happy to see that there's a Mocha probably coming up in CP somewhere. So yeah, Riyaz Bhai again, legend. We'll try and get him. Excuse me, sorry.
Another one, I think. Sorry. No, I think no. That's not what.
Go ahead. That's fine.
I think other restaurant here, if you're thinking, there are a few, who don't want to come on thing and talk. But there are a few who are very passionate, who know their business well, who can speak really well, who can inspire others. So what I would do is just give me some time. I will come back and I will probably text you on the group and I will tell you it would be the best right pick for you. Because right now I'm a little confused. It could be a woman or a man. I'll come back to you. Somebody from Bangalore itself. who's a legend again.
Fantastic. That will be great. And where do you like to go and eat if you don't eat at Empire? Which is
There
your
are many-
favorite restaurant?
There are many places that I go to,
Yeah,
and I
tell
get
us.
all places that I go whenever I get an option. Now, if you ask me for breakfast, there are a few spots. I enjoy my dosa. I love the Bangalorean dosa, and I cannot live without it. So there are a few places that I go to, like your Vidyarthi Bhavan, Airlines Hotel for the convenience. You can park and eat in your car, and a few other restaurants here and there with gullies, alleys that have some of the best of dosas you can get. And a few other restaurants, like in terms of Chinese, I would love any day to go to Beijing Bites and eat. That is to go for me. And Daily Sushi here, in terms of their salad offerings and their other quirky things, I love going to Daily Sushi. Again, the whole environment is just white people, no nonsense. I'm a very no nonsense guy, so I like it to be. Then I love street food. Ketan. I love street food. Even last night I had a good plate of sheikh kebab. I was overjoyed. So there are a lot of those I frequent, and I'm not a person who likes to go and try new things, but I would rather do that by instinct. I'm an ardent follower of my instinct and gut. I live on that.
Living in the moment, yes.
Yes. Ice creams, you asked me.
So happy.
Today, Corner House ice creams in Bangalore. My
Corner
go-to
House is legendary.
Even my daughter.
In
loves
fact,
it.
Corner House inspired me to become an ice cream maker. Fantastic. This has been a fantastic conversation. I cannot come and eat and probably work at the Empire now.
Yes.
Thank you for your time. It's been great. You've been a great narrator, great storyteller, and I think there are more topics that I would like to talk to you about, and we'll schedule you for more such sessions.
Studio. Yes. Thank you, Ketan. Thank you, Reelo, for this opportunity, and it was lovely talking to you. Always a pleasure. Thank you very much.